Patreon.com/the Walk Off Podcast. $4 a month gets you in there.
If you're watching this right now and you haven't hit the like button, Billy, get on it. Bug your brother. Tell him to do the same.
Well, we're glad to have you back and back covering baseball. Let's jump right in with the insanity that was yesterday's game. Obviously, a rough start from Yusei Kikuchi. And really, it's the first time he's been roughed up this season after a spring training that made him look like an all-star and, a really good first game of the year. And I know in November you joined us and you predicted that Yusei Kikuchi would be a contributing member to the successes of this 2023 Blue Jays team. Where are you at on Kikuchi right now? Was this start concerning in any way, or can we get away with chalking it up to a blip on the radar?
Yeah, it was funny because I watched that game very closely yesterday, and it seemed as if to start, let's not forget that this Angels lineup this year is extremely potent. It's a very, very good lineup, and they can do a lot of different things. And it seems like he was, overall in control. And then there was that blip, Dalton Varsho issue with the sun, that it was first inning, right? And things sort of derailed from there. And that to me speaks to focus levels, right? So he surrenders a home run, I believe the very next at bat. It was an unfortunate sequence of events in which there were 2 out. He was supposed to be out of that inning, and then things just escalated in a way that made me think, and obviously, I didn't ask him, I wasn't there, but it seemed to me like it was a focus issue there, in which something happened that took him out of the mentality of the game, and things started to escalate. So that's something that might be worth, keeping an eye out as we go into the narrative that is Yusei Kikuchi throughout the year. Can he keep the mentality in the right spot? It seems like he can. He proved it in spring training, and he certainly proved it in his first start of the year, when the Blue Jays really needed a stabilizing presence in that starting rotation, because that first week was tough, right? Pitching wise. So this is just one start, and it will be fascinating to see how he bounces back. Will he be the Yusei Kikuchi that the Mariners saw at times, the guy that made an all-star team, or will he be what we saw last year in terms of consistency? This is something that's still very much ongoing, I believe.
With the mental focus aspect of Kikuchi, is it the best case scenario that that's what's wrong? Probably, right?
Yes.
Or has his focus been the whole problem the whole time?
Yeah, that's definitely not the case, right? But we know that he has the stuff. We know that when he's on and when he's, hitting his fastball locations and actually getting that ball to move and to miss bats, he is one of the best left-handers in the game. But then something happens that just isn't that. And so what is it? Is it just the mentality? Is it the grip? Is it the conditions? Is it game calling, right? We really can't pinpoint it. And there's so much that goes into a starting pitcher's work that it is really hard to, especially this early in the season, to try to predict how it's going to go. But that was maybe, my first impression of that whole first inning and how it unfolded, and then how the rest of the game went. But props to him for also staying in and giving the Blue Jays some innings there, because we know that the bullpen has already been sort of taxing, especially after extra innings and everything that happened in last night's game. That was a crazy game, wasn't it?
Wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Just insane. I am so curious, Julia, on your thoughts on how Yusei Kikuchi's usage of his fastball has decreased. And I asked because when they first brought Yusei Kikuchi in on the big 3-year deal, and they were showing all the highlights, the thing that was so exciting to me as a fan was his fastball and how well that worked from the left-hand side. And in my mind, I was like, if this guy can just believe in his fastball and even increase the usage, this is good stuff. But it has worked the other way this season, in that we've seen his usage in the fastball come way down, and see him have some success with that.
Right on. And that's sort of a trend. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Jump in. Yeah.
No, I think that's a league-wide trend, right? I believe Sportsnet showed the numbers yesterday during the broadcast about how league-wide fastball usage has decreased. And that is very much, I believe, a product of just the modernizing of the game, right? Hitters are being taught from a young age now to go for the Nike swoosh swing, right? We all know that. And so how are pitchers countering that? How are pitchers finding ways to still miss those bats? And that is turning to the breaking ball more often and trying to fool hitters there. Is that going to last forever? I don't believe so. But when you look at what Kikuchi did last year and his struggles with locating that fastball and throwing that fastball for strikes, it makes sense that he would try something new here. And this is the time to do it, right? This is the time for the Blue Jays pitching staff or for the Blue Jays pitching coaches to try out new stuff with Kikuchi. And as long as he remains open to it, I think that they'll be okay. And again, he's shown that he can do it. It will be very hard for me not to be in on Yusei Kikuchi. Like, it would take a lot for me to be like, well, you know what? Yes, the Blue Jays tried, but that's it. I'm a Kikuchi supporter all the way.
Well, if we see success out of him, Julia, I want to see you really rubbing it in everyone's face. All right?
No.
You get an ego.
I'm gonna take the high road. I'm just gonna go like this. I'm just gonna be like, it's okay. You know what? People make mistakes.
Even better.